ADHD Babes, the podcast, a podcast hosted by the ADHD Babes community for the community. Please note, nothing mentioned during the podcast is meant as a diagnosis. If you believe you have ADHD, please seek professional advice and visit or join ADHDBabes.com for help with diagnosis. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. And now, you're listening to the next episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. April is Autism Acceptance Month and April the 2nd is World Autism Awareness Day. In honour of that, we are bringing you a special episode dedicated to sharing our lived experiences of what it's like having ADHD and autism, unofficially known as AuDHD, to help others feel seen and heard. Today's episode is hosted by me, Sabrina, and today we are going to be discussing ADHD and autism. Joining in on the discussion, we are joined by our guest, ADHD babes, Sarah and Selom. Welcome to both of you.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Thank you so much. Hello. Thank you for joining us. So that our listeners can get to know you a bit better, can you introduce yourselves, your pronouns, and a bit about what you do? So, Sarah, let's start with you.
Hello, my name's Sarah. My pronouns are she, her. There's lots of things about me. So currently, I also have my own podcast, but in my day job, I'm a program manager for a charity called, or a non-profit, I would say, called Coding Black Females. They're an amazing organisation and they help Black women get into tech at all levels. And we always have loads of events around technology and also a lot around neurodiversity as well. So that's currently what I do. I've also worked as a civil servant and I do a variety of little bits and pieces because my brain is constantly buzzing and I always have to do 100 and a million things.
Thank you for joining us. It's good to have you with us. And Selom, can you introduce yourself, your pronouns, and a bit about what you do?
Hello, good evening. I'm Selom. I don't really use pronouns out loud to the world, so I prefer just to be called Selom, but you can see the pronouns that I prefer on the Zoom. I prefer people just learn how to say my name properly because people struggle to even say that first. So that's my first struggle. I work in a university for a disability mental health and wellbeing team. The service is quite big. So that's what I do. My cousin's actually been on the Coding Black Females podcast a few years ago. So that's a nice link. In my spare time, what do? I don't really do much. I just watch a lot of TV, play games, and I used to do a lot of litter picking, which I used to enjoy a lot, but I need to get back into that because I lost my litter picker bags. But that's my excuse.
I like that. Thank you so much. It's great to have you both with us. So let's get into it. So today we're talking about autism and ADHD, and it's common for people with ADHD to have at least one comorbidity, such as autism. So what has your experience been like having ADHD and autism, particularly with certain traits? So Selom, let's start with you. What has your experience been like?
Yeah, so I was late diagnosed for both. And I would say my experience was is persistent conflict because some of the traits of my autism is that I really like routine. I don't really like change that much. Like I can handle change, but there's a specific way that I need the change to happen. But the need for routine, especially, has been something that really conflicts with my ADHD. Because with my ADHD, just like Sarah, I also was like jumping jobs all the time. I need variety. I can't just be doing the same thing over and over, but I need it, but I need it in like blocks. I need like the same of this, but then I also need to be able to jump to do something else. So the type of jobs I've always done have been a mixture of like working with people, working on my own, being analytical, things like that. So for me, like, it's very difficult to kind of summarize my experience, but I just feel a lot of people use the analogy of like ADHD is like being the Sims, being a Sim, and then like there's just some diabolical person controlling your Sims. So sometimes it's just canceling tasks on you, and like you know, you just walk into a room, you don't know what you were doing. But then at the same time, with being autistic, I feel like the Sim that's kind of like standing in the corner going, like panicking all the time and just like waving their hands, being like, hey, meet my needs. And then the player is just like, I can hear you, la, la, la. So I just feel like I'm in that constant kind of like, why am I in this room? Oh, I feel uncomfortable. Like, just like all the time. And I think one of the biggest things for me, kind of like as the years have gone by and I haven't been able to mask as much, and my other comorbid conditions have been compiling a lot as well, is that regulating. I've been struggling a lot with regulating myself and not being overwhelmed, basically, like all the time.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I love that Sims analogy that you were talking about, because that really sums it up. It's like you've got the ADHD side, we need variety, and then the autism wants structure, and then the ADHD wants to be around people, and then the autism is like, I'm tired. And then it's always just this yin and yang against each other. And also you mentioned about not being able to mask as much, and that's really interesting. I've had that as well, and I need to delve into that a bit more because I don't really know what that's about. How about you, Sarah? What has your experience with ADHD and autism been like?
So I have ADHD and dyslexia, but my husband has ADHD and autism. He's autistic and ADHD. And it's interesting because we both have different neurodiverse conditions. And you would think, how can two neurodiverse people be so attracted to each other and work together? But in a really weird way, it actually does work, because my husband, he's very analytical. He's very focused. So he calms me down with my madness and my craziness. And he's able to like calm me down in some aspects. But then with him as well, because of his autism, he always feels a need of reassurance. So because I feel like I'm more loving in a sense of giving affirmations to him. I say, oh, I love you, babe. I said, sure you love me. Do you love me? Do you really love me? He needs that reassurance constantly. And I'm like, yeah, baby, I love you. I love you. He's like, okay. And he'll just like calm down, go into his analytical thoughts, and he'll just be overthinking things. So it's a really weird complex that we're both neurodiverse, but our neurodiversities kind of complement each other in a way. Yeah, he always needs this constant need, but he is quite similar in the fact that he's always doing different things. So he's always had a consistent job, but within those jobs, he'll go and do one crazy job here or one job there, and then he'll realize, oh, I don't like this job no more. It's boring me. At the moment now, he's got into coding. So he's just into coding and writing code and doing all of that stuff at the moment. So he's just focused on coding and trying to build a business. And he's always been like that. But he needs that consistency as well as having a regular job as well. So it's an interesting one, because we kind of sometimes we do clash with our neurodiverse conditions, but more so we tend to complement one another with how we are together. So yeah.
I really like that. It sounds like you've got a case of opposites attract, like one of you has autism, one of you has ADHD, and then that complements each other. That sounds really good. I'm really glad that you're talking about your husband's experiences, because that's very relatable as well, like his need for structure and constantly needing reassurance. I'm like, oh, that's making sense, because I'm not officially diagnosed, but I have traits. Like I scored quite high on the AQ 50. So yeah, when you're talking about your husband, I'm like, so yeah, learning.
He needs to know, like, he was like, baby, do you love me? I'm like, of course I love you. Are you sure? Like, yeah, I do love you. It's like, okay. Then sometimes I like joke with him, like, I actually hate you. He's like, no, don't hate me. But yeah, I do love my husband, I do. But like, it's just, I know he needs that reassurance and that touch Like he likes me to touch him and hold him, which is really funny because he gets really weird with other people touching him. So he gets really like, don't touch me and stuff.
Yeah, there
And
are people who are allowed. There's a approval list, like
yeah.
not some stranger. Like, who are you to be? Like, you haven't got clearance,
Yeah.
security 5-level clearance. Don't have it. Don't touch me.
Yeah, even shaking people's hands, it's hard for him to shake people's hands if he's not that sure of them. So he gets a bit like it, and it's hard because he's masking it if he has to shake hands, but it's really a hard thing for him. So he almost, when he has a sharing handshake, he has to kind of do this afterwards it's hard for him because he really masks the issue of having to touch people. It's a thing for him. He's very sensory. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's me as well. I thought that was just me. I did not know that was an autism thing. I don't like shake. I literally, if it's a job interview, I'm like, oh, I'll shake your hand, but I just really don't like it. But if someone like sticks their hand out, I'm like, sorry, I don't shake hands because I can't do it anymore. I'm like, I don't know where your hands have been. When did you wash your hands? Like some people don't wash their hands. Some people like, I don't want to say certain professions, but there's some people, certain professions, and their nails are like dirty, like actually dirty. I'm like, I don't know when you last washed your hands. Like, how did that happen? So I'm just like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah, he's so particular. And one thing about my husband as well, I'm very rubbish at organizing myself. He will organize everything. So I'll like, and he's very methodical. He knows where everything is. I'm always losing my key. He never loses it. He knows where everything is. I'm always losing stuff. When I put my keys, there they are. Where's there they are.
Oh.
So that's literally how we are. So I can't remember where I put any of my things, and he will just organize everything. Even like we're going away in April for my birthday, and he's already started packing. Yeah.
That's too early. What?
That's him. That's my husband. I'm like, no. We have to pack everything and make sure everything. And I'm like, but I still need some of my, no, like he's packed everything. So I'm like going in suitcases to take my stuff out of the suitcase because he's packed it already. And I'm like,
but how long are you going for?
We're only going for like a week and a bit. But he's like, yeah, he's already started. That's what I mean. He's very like organized, like he has things in order, but very like has a big issue on touch and people touching him, and he can get obsessed over things for long periods of times. And now his thing is coding, so he's just obsessed with coding now, and anything tech and coding. He's obsessed with it right now.
Oh my god! So
I just wanted to add, like it's starting to come up over and over again of how many relationships where one of them is ADHD and one of them is autistic.
Yeah, but neurodivergent people attract each other.
It's very true.
In a lot of friend groups, later on you'll find out, oh, this one got diagnosed, that one got diagnosed. Neurodivergent people always attract one another some way or another, because it's just sometimes it can just be a really different energy, especially like autistic people also attracting each other as well. But the thing you were saying about like how your husband's super organized but you're not, that kind of like, for me, it's like the fragmenting of the different aspects of me, because in work everyone's like, oh, you're so organized, blah blah blah. I'm like, this is a survival strategy. Like I cannot survive in all this organization in work because I need to get paid. I have bills to pay. If you see my personal life, chaos, just chaos and brimfire. That's all that exists in my personal life. There's no semblance of organization. I mean, I know where my things are in the chaos. Like if anyone came like into my bedroom perchance. Yeah, it's just a whole different story. I don't know what's going on. Like once I was supposed to go for a hair tutorial, I was excited the whole week. I emailed them the night before to ask the question. I read the answer in the morning. Why am I 40 minutes late? Why am I 40 minutes late and I've missed the whole tutorial?
my husband is late, but he stopped doing that. But I remember our first date, he was very, very late. And I almost left him. But something in me just to like, give him a chance, give him a chance. But there was a part of me like, how can you be this late? And then when he came, I'm like, why were you late? He's like, I was looking for my things and stuff like that. And I was like, but then when we had the date, it was nice and he was a really cool guy. And then obviously now we're married. But like now I realize why he's late, because he will take ages to do things and he'll keep doing the same thing over and over again until he feels it's perfect. It's just a bit, yeah.
Is your husband comorbid OCD at all? Because it's a quite common
I don't know
comorbid trait, especially with the hand shaking and like needing to do things over again.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was diagnosed as autistic as a child, but he wants to have another diagnostic test, because the reason why he was diagnosed as autistic as a child is because he never spoke up until the age of 7. Like he wasn't speaking, so they thought like there was something wrong with him. Like his parents were like, "What's going on? Why is his child not speaking?" You know. And it's not like he lacked intelligence, he just wasn't speaking. And obviously then they realized he had autism, and then he only started speaking later on and like having conversations with people. But I think he probably does need to have another autistic test to kind of see if that OCD is involved as well. But yeah, that was he was a kind of late bloomer. Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah, you said your husband is really organized and then you're going on holiday. Does he put together like an itinerary, like what you're doing every single day?
So he says he wants us for the first 2 days to relax. Then we're going to go to, he's really organized what we're going to be doing. And I'm like, I'm still thinking about what we're going to do. And I'm a project manager. I'm quite organized. I think I am. But he is like he has everything like timed. He knows exactly he wants everything to be. I'm not that specific. He's more specific and detailed than me. So he's really detailed about. He's even looking at the place and seeing how far it is from the hotel and how long. Like, yeah, that's not me. I would just kind of go like, this is where it'll go and we'll figure it all out. But he's very in the detail.
Yeah, no, I'm like that as well. I can't go on holiday and not plan a single day. Like, I don't know how people just go on holiday and like, oh, what should we do today? Like, what? And I want to ask you too this as well. This is a random question, but when you're doing your food shopping, do you write a list or do you just go into the shopping and just get your stuff?
I write a list. My husband writes a list as well. Yeah. So he knows exactly what we should get in the shop and he'll write down exactly what we need to. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's more organized than me. Like I thought I was organized. He's different level.
I mean, I write a list, but it's the question of if my brain feels that the list is a legitimate child that belongs in my mind space and will be used once I get to the store. I rely a lot on lists because it's quite difficult for me, but I will look at the list. It's like reading a recipe for me. 5 tablespoons, or 5 teaspoons rather. 5 teaspoons, 5 teaspoons, 5 teaspoons. Then you look again, it says 5 tablespoons. That's the same for me in the shop when I'm looking at my list. I'll be going down the list thinking I bought everything. I'm halfway home. Oh, the mushrooms are gone. Oh, the milk is gone. Everything on the list that I was meant to buy, I haven't bought it somehow, despite having a list. I don't use the list for online shopping, but I have like a whiteboard on the fridge, a magnetic whiteboard, and I made a habit that anytime I notice anything is finished, I have to go to the whiteboard and write it on the whiteboard, which was really helpful. But in terms of shopping lists, it's still chaos and just the sadness when I get to the shop. But the way I regulate myself is I just have my music on and I use a trolley and I just dance as I go through the aisles. And then that just keeps my emotions regulated. I feel less stressed out because I'm just like, oh, I'm all the way down the 18th aisle and I forgot something on the second aisle for the 5th time already. That's fine. That's fine. Let's just dance back and go back and get it. Because what else can you do?
Do you listen to the same song over and over again?
It depends.
Oh, my husband does that.
Yeah.
He does that.
Good. That's my thing. Like, literally, I can listen to the same song like 10 times and it doesn't bother me. But it wrecks
annoys me.
Oh no, it's great. When I was in sixth form, I listened to the same song for 2.5 months, just on repeat for my exams revision. It's called Saturday Night, by a Korean pop artist, but it was a remix by someone called G Sweet, and he made a really good remix. It was the Blue remix. Oh no, this might have been Alexis. Who cares? Anyway, it's a really good remix, and it just got me through all my studying, just on repeat for 2.5 months. Yeah.
I love that.
Is it the comfort of the rhythm that makes you just like it?
It's the rhythm. It's just got a specific rhythm. It regulates my feelings. It just keeps me in like a stasis. It keeps me in like a baseline that I need to be in, where it just keeps me where I need to be emotionally, mentally, and it just maintains the stability, basically. Think of me like a nuclear reactor. Like it's the cold water just keeping me where I need to be so that I don't explode.
I like it in the song where, oh, sorry, go on.
No, I understand that, because he, not only that the music is playing, he would tap, my husband would tap his body at the same time like this whilst the music is.
I do that with my feet. My toes move on their own, and my partner's like, are your toes moving to the music? I'm like, I don't know, they do their own thing. Like, I have no control of my toes. Like, he thinks it's like a planned out thing. It's not. They're just doing this by themselves. Do you know what I like in a song? I like the crescendo. You know when a song goes up and then it's really, really like up here. I love that bit. Like, that's what I love. So I listen to the same song over and over again because I just want to get to the crescendo. I'm like, oh, I love it here. That's another thing I want to ask. Do you like really long songs? Or is that just me?
It depends once again. Like, there's a song called, of course, I'm not going to remember the name, but Isn't It a Pity? It's a song called Isn't It a Pity by one of the older singers, but it's like 8 minutes long or something like that. And I listened to that one on repeat for a long time, but the reason why was because the emotion in the words of the song, and just like it was just a very like lamenting the state of the world, but also there seemed to be a beauty in it, and that was very comforting. But generally long songs, I'm like, are you done? Yeah, or can we go? There's very few artists where I like long songs, like the Mars Volta. All of their songs drag on, but I like their music because their music is very stimulating, and like I feel like I'm going on a roller coaster in my brain with the way they do their music. So it's easy. Like they'll be like bah, 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 and then suddenly it's all like mellow. Like you go on a real adventure. So my brain doesn't get bored. But if it was just like some pop song like for 7 minutes, I couldn't do it. Although I love pop, so no shade on pop.
I recently read a post on a forum and they said that feeling like I am just deficits instead of strengths. And for me, it was really relatable. Do you have moments like that where you feel like your neurodiversity is not a strength? It feels more like a deficit. And then how do you deal with that? Sarah, we'll start with you.
Every day. Every day I feel like, do you know what I hate? This whole notion of superpower.
Yeah, I don't have it.
It's not a superpower. Like when you can't, like, especially when you have ADHD and dyslexia, or you really want to get your work done, but your brain doesn't allow you to do it because your brain just feels like shutting off for no reason. And then they tell you have a superpower. What superpower is that?
No.
Yeah, what superpower is that? I get really, I get upset with that. And sometimes even with my husband, as much as he has so many strengths, sometimes it can be very frustrating when I can see my husband going into his downtime, like his down moments. And I'll be like, babe, what are you doing? And he gets really angry at me for feeling like I'm pushing him too much. But I know that he's in that downtime, like that those low moments where he can't get himself to do the things he wants to do. And it can be quite frustrating because the time when he's low, I have to pick up. And sometimes I don't feel like picking up because I don't want to always be the strong one, you know? So yeah, it does feel like sometimes in a way, like, and he said this to me times where he feels like he's a bit broken and things are not, he wasn't made like everyone else. But I always give him that assurance that I feel that like you, maybe in a different way with my neurodiverse condition. But we do, like, I do feel sometimes as a neurodiverse person, you do feel like you're broken, like you're just not, things are not working properly and you don't understand. And even at the moment, I'm going through my ADHD assessment form because I know I had ADHD, but I feel like I need to get assessed for it again. So I'm doing it. And like doing the form is a whole, I don't know whether anyone's done that form. That form is long. I just thought it was just going to be one page. I'm just doing that form over and over again anyway. But like thinking of my childhood and thinking of things that have happened to me, like it just, all the dots make sense. Like, you know, I was 15 minutes from school and I was always late and I ended up getting Saturday detention because I went to a really strict Catholic school. So they used to always give me detention because I was late for class all the time. You used to get a detention slip and I got so many of those pink slips. So I had to go to Saturday detention because I was always late. And I'm like, my mum and dad are like, how are you late when you're only 15 minutes from the school? How can you go to, like, but I'm like, I was just always late. And I'm like 10 minutes late. I'll think I have so much time. But now I look back at it as an adult and I realize all that time whilst I was at school, instead of being punished for like my shortcomings, why didn't anyone help me? So I'm going through that phase of feeling a little bit angry with the system for not supporting me when I should have got support rather than being condemned when I was condemned as a child because I wasn't working hard enough or I was just daydreaming and not putting enough effort at school. Where really it's because I was neurodiverse and no one knew how to help me or didn't feel to help me. And I felt even more so that I had to mask during school because I just don't think anyone cared enough to even want to know that I had a problem. I just had to get on with it. And I feel like even now as an adult, I'm going through this phase of just being myself, but also masking and being comfortable with the fact that, you know what, I can't do everything. And, you know, sometimes I can't find places, I get lost, and that's okay. I'm neurodiverse, but I would beat myself up about it because I should know how to find places and know how to get to directions and figure things out. But my brain is not like that. So it's like, there's this element I'm still kind of masking, but at the same time, I need to unmask and just be okay with the fact that I don't have it all together and it's okay. Like so that's my stance. I feel like I've lost track of if I've answered the question, but yeah.
No, you did.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you were. I appreciate what you were saying about your experience and your husband's experience as well, because there is a lot of the word superpower. I read the word superpower today again. I'm like, y'all are saying superpower. And it was about a neurodiversity event as well. And they used the word superpower. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't have a cape anyway. I don't know about y'all, but I don't have a cape. So yeah. How about you, Selom? What has your experience been like? Do you feel like your neurodiversity is a strength or does it feel more like a deficit?
So firstly, I just want to say everybody is neurodiverse. Society is neurodiverse. We're neurodivergent. So as a multiply neurodivergent person, that conflict that I have is what has been the most difficult for me because the conflict is like two opposite sides. Just like I want consistency, I want to have structure, I want to have like routine, but then at the same time also with mental health as well and my ADHD and then also my chronic illness, which also contributes to fatigue and brain fog and just like also compounds the mental health as well. It's just like a nice chaotic circle of like poking the bear basically. I've just felt really left behind. I've also felt like Sarah, like there's been so much vim against me, like, of the different kind of traits that I've had growing up, like, and it's all been hindsight, being like, oh, that's why. Oh, that's why. But then it's kind of like the scars have kind of already been formed by this point. So I'm like constantly struggling to heal or soothe the past wounds, but new ones keep coming. It's like I cannot keep up. And yeah, I just feel like I can understand where the superpower thing comes from, because I think it's a hypercorrection. It's a hypercorrection of different neurodivergent people being told, why are you lazy? Why are you like this? Why are you like that? Why are you not enough? And then people being like, oh, well, this positive side of me. And this is what gets to me. We constantly have to try and prove our worth as well. Oh, I'm useful for society. I'm useful for this job. I'm useful for this. Don't discard me. Don't throw me away. So just constantly trying to just like prove yourself, prove that you belong, prove that you're useful to society, when really we should be focusing on like, I'm good enough for me. I'm good enough for me to exist and be here and just be enjoying the birds singing in the trees and the breeze on my face. That is good enough. And for me, yeah, it's just been really, really difficult, like trying to reconcile the past whilst also still trying to live in the present and plan for my future, when, yeah, I can't really future plan anyway. So I try to do it day by day. But it's, yeah, I think for me, it's been just like, yeah, I feel very inadequate sometimes, where like, oh, and it's the worst when you've been having a really good like stint where you're like really productive, everything seems to be going your way. Then suddenly your brain is like, you know what? You know what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Get out of bed. No. Your meal? No. Drink some water?
Yeah.
No. That street light that never bothers you? Overstimulated. The noise outside that you can usually block out, it sounds like it's in your ear, like in your, like just randomly. And then it just puts you in that spiral where you're just like, oh no. And you can sometimes feel it coming. So that makes you even more stressed and anxious. Then you get in that slump, Sarah, like your husband, where you're just like super frustrated and just like, why is it like this? I know I can do better. And it's just this kind of self-blame and just, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it happens to everybody, but it's just like, if the world, the status quo is telling you that when you get like that, you're not good enough, it's so difficult to come out of that space and that feeling of inadequacy. I could go on, so I'm just going to stop here.
Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. And you've both mentioned about the negativity growing up, and then Selom, what you were saying about constantly having to prove your worth. I feel like that's the exhausting bit as well, like constantly having to be like, I'm here, I deserve to be here, and then having to give yourself grace, and then trying to expect grace from other people, but then not always getting it as well. And then there's feelings of inadequacy coming in as well. And I sometimes find it difficult, especially when I see neurodivergent people like doing this, and I'm like,
winning.
They've got winning, and I'm like, they've got energy. I'm like, y'all are not tired. I'm tired.
And that's the thing, because that's another thing that gets to me, is that we always say like, oh, autism is a spectrum, ADHD, everything is a spectrum. But then somehow we also, I don't know if it's the grind culture or hustle culture or what, but then people forget that there are some people with ADHD, they don't even need to take medication. They see an ADHD coach, they start exercising a bit more, and then they're good to go. They can self-regulate and they're fine. Then there's some people who have to take the highest dose of ADHD medication, have to attend therapy, and even then it's still incredibly difficult for them. And I feel there's a really pervasive and kind of internalized ableism in the community of different neurodivergent communities, where people are like, well, I can do it, why can't you, type of thing.
I find that too as well. I feel like we discriminate within our own community. Like we look at one neurodivergent, and sometimes it makes me feel like a bit a type of way, because I look at somebody who else is neurodiverse, I think, oh, how are they doing that? And they're neurodiverse. And then it makes me feel like, well, maybe there's something wrong with me, or maybe there's no help for me. No one can help me because my neurodiversity is just so bad, and it's bad enough getting it from neurotypicals.
Exactly.
But people within your own circle, like not having that grace or understanding for you, like who you are as a neurodiverse person. So that's why I feel like I'm in a way blessed, and I feel grateful to have my husband, because he's taught me so much about myself and about understanding other neurodiverse conditions, because I've never understood autism. I never thought I would marry someone with autism. And it's taught me so much, and I'm just so grateful and so blessed to have that experience with him in terms of understanding his neurodiverse condition and being an autistic man and an autistic Black man as well, which comes with its whole complexities with it. But people might see it as like different, or how can you be with someone like that? But for me, I just find it such a blessing, and I feel it's such a great thing for me, because it's taught me to be so patient. It's taught me just to love even harder than I can love. And but that's how I see. That's how I have an appreciation for all neurodiverse people, like wherever you are, because there's some neurodiverse people, if you, like you said, if you give them a coach and you show them what to do, they're fine. Some need the heavy medication. It's just to give me such an appreciation of all diverse backgrounds and how people manage a neurodiverse condition, just through learning about a neurodiverse condition that I didn't even have much awareness of.
Exactly. And sometimes it's just about access. Like, maybe you can't do it now, but it's because you didn't have access to the tactics that might help you. And sometimes you could learn all the tactics in the world and you just would never get it. So it's just, I think people, and that's why I found, like, when I don't know if any of you watch Love on the Spectrum on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, so what I found online when I was seeing, like, a lot of allistic people, so people who are not autistic, so they might have ADHD but are allistic, so they're not autistic, was that there was a lot of hate on Danny, and a lot of the hate was very gender focused, the hate on her, but also because they thought, oh, she's capable, she has a business, so why can't she just do this? Why can't she just do that? And she'd get a lot of vitriol and hate towards her, which you really didn't see on the other autistic classmates who maybe had more support from their carers or their family or something like that. So some of the men would say wild things and they'd be like, oh, that's so funny, blah, blah, blah. But then Danny would say something. It's like, why is this successful businesswoman? Why can't she just, why is she so rude? Why is she so this? It was just like really disturbing to see. And it just made me feel like, it just felt really, it was just so uncomfortable, especially when other autistic people would go and be like, I'm autistic and I don't do what Danny does. So she just sucks. She should stop doing that. So that's kind of also kind of the behavior I've seen. Obviously, online isn't always the real world, but it kind of is nowadays. Back in the day, maybe we could say, I've been using the internet since 2000 when I say back in the day. So back in the day, you could say internet's not really real life, but now it very much so is. So it will influence how people treat others in real life. So that's just something that I observed and was quite wary of. But yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing. So as we've said at the start, it's April, which means Autism Awareness Acceptance Month. So I wanted to ask both of you, what does that mean to you and how can we be more supportive? So Selom, can you share with us first, like, what would support mean for you?
Well, for me, it's pinging off what Sarah said about her husband, not only being autistic, but being a Black man. So Autism Acceptance Month for me is people like Ryan Gaynor, recently murdered by the police, Elijah McCain, who was murdered by the police and paramedics a few years ago. And there was only recently upgrade in his case about unlawful killing. And then concurrently, which is ongoing now, Emmanuel Imu, who is in a Swedish prison being held, or a Swedish facility being held because he had the audacity in 2019 to have a meltdown. And they've now keeping him indefinitely because they said he cannot integrate into society while they do not, provide for him the care or anything that would help him. And basically, just tearing a family apart. So for me, that's Autism Affects this month for me. Like, I've never really celebrated it before, acknowledged it before. I'm not really, for me, it's kind of like what's happening every day type of thing. And for me, it's in every single movement, really, I really struggle with tokenization. It feels like in every single movement, people feel the need to tokenize things to try and get a message across. But what happens there is then that when it starts to kind of inject the perfect victim respectability politics into things. So when things aren't quote unquote perfect or neat or nice or cute or easily digestible, people kind of retch away from it. So if non-speaking autistic people say, we want to be heard more, we want to be more in the conversation and lead the conversation, it's like, oh no, you can't, you guys need so much help, let us talk for you, we'll do all the advocacy, blah blah blah, things like that. It's kind of like, I think it's just a really multifaceted kind of like matter where the right people and the right stories. And when I say right, I don't mean like it's good, but it's things that make people uncomfortable, that actually makes people understand the true scene of what is happening in society at the moment, to actually have an introspective look. Because I mean, look at what happened with Black Lives Matter and the Black Squares. Now all the DEI professionals are very quickly being fired in every single company that was like, we care about DEI, yeah, DEI. Now they're like, yeah, you can get on now, you can get on going. But what actually has changed structurally in society really at the longer scale? So for me, Autism Acceptance Month is like making people uncomfortable, but making sure that they learn. And that means me too, other autistic people too, to continuously be learning and understanding that the status quo is not static, it's always evolving. And we need to be conscious and sincere in how we want to learn from others, and be introspective and not have ego as well.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. And Sarah, would you like to add anything?
I don't know how I'm going to follow up on that, but I didn't know that it was Autism Acceptance month for April. I didn't know that they had an actual month for autism. So that's quite interesting for me to know. But I feel like the support that could be given is, I guess, making people aware of what the face of autism actually looks like and what real people are going through in terms of dealing with autism, what a real autistic relationship looks like, a lot of people don't see that. We don't really see I think the only thing I've seen of autism that I can think of in my life is the likes of people like Rain Man, and like that kind of savant kind of type of autistic that are super, super good at something and they're just good at that thing. And I feel like we need to look at autism from a different perspective in terms of what is it for a real person with autism, their day-to-day life and what they're going through, and how also we can be true allies. So not just saying that, oh, I care about autism for this month, but really just be true allies and really caring about the lives of autistic people, because a lot of the time they're not given a voice, they're not given the allowance to be themselves. A lot of them are actually masking. My husband has masked for years and it's exhausting for him. And sometimes I would see him come back from work just exhausted, not just because of the work, but just because of the fact he's having to be something that he's not. And
100%.
He's not allowed to have that space to be himself. So it can be, can we allow us to be ourselves, basically, and not have to conform to this world so much or be what people want us to do. I'm not saying that let's be ourselves. Yeah, that's what I have to say to that, because it's exhausting having to try to be something you're not.
And code switching on top of it, not just masking, code switching as well. I agree so much.
Yeah.
And it also goes back to the like, can we just be worthy of being alive outside of capitalism, please? This is a wider issue in disability awareness and acceptance. Like, I deserve to be alive just because I'm breathing and I'm alive. I don't have to make money for you. I don't have to save you from a burning building. I don't have to be your inspiration. I don't have to inspire you if I don't want to inspire you. I can just exist, be standing by a tree, looking like I'm looking on flowers, but actually I'm just farting because I can't fart amongst other people. Like, just something as simple as that. I just want to be, and just exist.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be tied down to, am I worthy of it?
I really love that response. And it reminds me what you were saying earlier about how we're in a grind culture at the moment. I came into this year and I'm like, just no more. Like I'm just not doing what everybody else is doing. It's so draining, and I literally can't mask anymore either. Like I've tried, I can't do it anymore. I am just going to do whatever I want to do. If I want to stay inside, if I want to go out, I don't want to go out. I might not go here. I might go here. So I like what you both said about it's just about being allowed to be ourselves. And then Sarah as well, what you were saying about there's only one types of autism. You're right, because I've only seen there's a guy on Netflix and I forgot what his name is. And then I think it was called A for Autism. There was a show on Netflix.
Yeah.
And then there was also Sheldon as well from Big Bang Theory.
There's been quite a few on British telly recently, but the response to that has been the government putting out more hit pieces. So Paddy McGuinness's wife, forgive me, I've forgotten her name. She was diagnosed autistic after her 2 kids were diagnosed. So she actually had a documentary last year or 2 years ago where she went on her discovery journey. There's, I think, a loose woman. I don't know if it's one of the loose women or just one of the people who's been a guest quite a few times on Loose Women. They got diagnosed with ADHD and then autism. So it's been cropping up a bit more, but the response from that has been the government bringing out these hit piece documentaries and podcasts, being like, oh, is it overdiagnosed, blah blah blah, kind of like. And I wasn't even surprised when it happened. Come again, sorry.
I hate when people say that ADHD and autism are being overdiagnosed. How do you know?
Exactly.
How do you know?
They know because it's costing them money. It costs too much now. It's too much. Stop. That's it. That's it. It's not based on anything other than it's hitting their pocket and they feel it's too much. I wasn't even surprised when all these hit pieces started coming out of the Beeb and so on and so forth, because the timeline completely aligned with more. I forgot his name, but he does a lot of nature stuff with Country File and stuff like that.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he did a short documentary too on autistic people, and he was trying to just show like the autistic journey. He even had a young autistic black boy on their teenager on there as well, and things like that. And basically they were telling their story as being autistic. I was like, this needs to be a full-on like proper series where they go in depth on all the different aspects of being autistic, whether you're non-speaking, whether you have other comorbid conditions like intellectual disability maybe, or everything, every single aspect. It shouldn't always be speaking autistic people who can work and stuff. It should be the whole spectrum, as they say, in all different directions. So yeah, 100% agree with you. Like, you wouldn't know. Like, it's so binary.
Can I just ask if you guys have seen there's an Instagram page, I think it's called Raising Kev or Raising Kevin?
Raising Kevin. I love Kevin.
I love that
Kevin.
page. Have you seen it, Sabrina?
Tola.
No. So it's basically a mum, his mum, and I think he's like early 20s maybe now. But it's basically Black family, and it's just about her raising her autistic son.
No, he's like 19. Sorry, late response.
Well, yeah. So yeah, about the age I was, so late teens. like just into adulthood, and it's about, you know, when he goes and he makes his shopping list and they record everything, and he's just the sweetest person I've ever seen. Like the fact that he's like, nope, dad's coming home soon, so I'm gonna make sure. So he goes and he opens the door and he opens the gates for his dad to come home, and when he's got a day
And how
off
does
from
his
work,
dad repay him? Eating all his snacks. Father, how could you?
The sweetest video I saw of them recently was he had a day off from work, and so he makes a point of taking his little sibling to school on his day off because he has to take his sibling to school. It makes him feel good that he took his sibling to school. And I'm sorry, if you guys don't know it, is it Raising Kev, Selom?
Yeah, it's Raising Kevin.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is
Raising
it Kev?
Kevin.
Is it just Kev? Okay,
It might be
I think
Kevin.
it's
It might
Kev.
be Kevin.
Yeah,
It might be Kev. Anyway, Raising Kev or Raising Kevin. I'll find it. I'll put it in the show notes.
But I like it because it's a Black African Nigerian family as well. And the mum is not doing the whole martyr thing. Like, yes, life can be hard sometimes, but she's not like, oh, my life is so hard because of Kevin. She'd be in New York with her daughter, enjoying her time, being like, sometimes she just goes on holiday on her own just to enjoy herself. The support system within that family is so encouraging. There's hope
so beautiful
that you can like, you know, obviously there's a monetary side to it, but there's also the mentality side to it where they can afford to have that love and respect. It's not only just love, it's the respect that they have for their son and for each other that allows them to do that. And it's just so beautiful. It's very beautiful because in a lot of African families, it's just like, even once you get your diagnosis, they won't believe it and they will still be like treating you some kind of way, or they want to hide it because they're afraid, especially if they're religious and things like that. So it's just so beautiful to see a family who's like, yeah. And
I have that in my culture where there's someone who is autistic. We all know he's autistic, but he's always hidden. They don't want him to come out, or
it's sad.
It's like they're just ashamed, or just don't want to admit we know he's autistic, but they don't want to talk about it. It's really weird. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I found. Yeah,
Raising Kev, such a beautiful. And there's other families as well. Unfortunately, I can't remember how to say the name, but the Instagram starts with AQ. But this mother, she's got 2 small autistic kids, and she does not give a damn. When her kids have a meltdown, she gets on the floor and has a meltdown with them. And when people are like, your kid's too loud, she's like, move them. Who's keeping you hostage? If it's too loud for you, go on and sit somewhere else. There was a video recently with Karen and Bob trying to call her kids stupid and whatnot, and she said, if you want a Selfridges experience, go to Selfridges. This is a supermarket cafe. Like, so I really, really like those channels where you see Black African parents being like, yeah, this is how my kid is, and I'm loving them unconditionally. It's so encouraging.
Please share them with me. Please share them with me so I can make sure that it's in the show notes for listeners to check out those pages.
I will do.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our last question. So what advice would you give to your younger self now that you know that you're neurodivergent? Sarah, we'll start with you.
My younger self, I would say it's going to be okay, Sarah, in the end, even though you don't know what you're doing, you're a bit scatty, and you're going to end up marrying an autistic guy, and you're both going to be happy and in love. That's what I'll tell my younger self.
That's beautiful. Your younger self is like, I'm a Disney princess. What I would say to my younger self is, you're going to have to advocate for yourself. Your suspicions are correct. Don't just put it in your Facebook statuses and then be getting assaulted by your Facebook memories every single year, crying out for help. If you have to do it alone now whilst you still have the vigor. Basically, a bit bleak, but yeah, just do it. You're right. Don't second guess yourself. Trust your instinct. Basically, you're a very analytical person. You recognize patterns, so just do it and trust yourself. Basically, yeah.
Thank you both so much. We're going to wrap up the episode now. So I want to recap what we've talked about. So what was something you learned that you found interesting? And is anything that you'd like to share about what you've got coming up, like if you've got any projects, for example?
Well, I've learned that autism is a beautiful thing, but it can be also a crazy thing to have, and we just have to get through it each day. I do have something coming up. So as a neurodiverse woman, I have a dyslexia workshop on the 20th of March. So it might be a bit late when I tell you this, but yeah, it's just to help you understand your dyslexia better. I also have my own podcast, which is called Divided Egma. My last episode, it was with my mum on Mother's Day, so you should go check it out. And we talk about both of us being neurodivergent, so it'll be quite interesting for you to watch. Yeah, I also have my membership called Neuro and Egma as well, which is also on my website, dividedegma.org. So yeah, you can check it out. I'm sure it'll be in the show notes. So yeah.
Thank you so much. And Selom, how about you? What have you learned from this episode? And then is there anything you'd like to share about what you have coming up?
Well, I just learned it right now that African parents can actually admit that they're neurodivergent. So wow, that needs to be a whole episode in of itself. So I have to listen to that podcast episode. That's also, once again, incredibly encouraging. And then what have I got coming up? I'm going to the Cotswolds over Easter to see my friends. That's just a place that I can really just be myself with my friends. I just feel no pressure physically, mentally, nothing. We do a lot of parallel play, and I'm just really excited to be once again in nature and just living my best like woodland life. Because yeah, it's just a really healing time for me when I'm with my friends and their cat Susu.
I love that. Being in nature is the best. It is really healing. Okay, well, we're finished for now. So thank you so much, Selom and Sarah, for joining us today. Can you tell our audience how we can get in touch with you? So if you want to give us your social handles, any websites, for example.
I think I gave it already, but I'll give it again. So it's dividedegma.org, which is my website. My Instagram is Divided Egma. I'm on TikTok as well. I just got it on. So I'm the same, Divided Egma. Yeah, those are my handles. And yeah, you can email me as well. But it's all on my website. So yeah, it's all there.
Thank you so much. And Selom, how about you? Do you have any handles that you want to share, or do you have any websites, for example?
No, me. I just use social media personally. But if you want to chat to me and you're an ADHD babe, join the ADHD babe Discord, because that's where I live, like a cave troll. So you can find me living there, lurking there. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please feel free to follow our podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes, and follow at ADHD Babes on socials for more updates. You can also get in touch with us for our Dear Babes episodes coming up. And once again, we'd love it if you could leave us a rating and a review and let everyone know your thoughts. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. If you're a Black woman or non-binary person and need help and support in managing your ADHD or advice on diagnosis, please visit ADHDbabes.com. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. Join us in 2 weeks for a new episode. Until then, all the love from the ADHD Babes team.
Just as I am, can you take me